Hey, good morning, everybody. I had a really interesting experience yesterday that I wanted to share with you so it can give a little insight into how the tax planning process actually works and really emphasize how we can show ourselves different than the other tax planners out there. And we're serious when we mean this. So there's an individual in California that does a lot of work in the solar energy space. Now, there are several things that we work together on in the product that this individual delivers. We can do an opportunity zone play. And if you're not familiar with that, you can either go and look at it or I'll put something out a little bit on it. But there's also solar tax credits. So the gist of the general transaction is you make an investment into a solar installation. And for every $100 you put in, you're going to save somewhere between $115 to $135 in tax savings in the first year. Okay. The second piece of it is there is a longer term cash flow option. So in year one, you'd get 80 to 90% back on your tax return, and you're going to get about a 4% pretty much guaranteed dividend for the next like 25 years. So it's kind of a cool play. It gives the client two different options on how to approach it. But the interesting thing is with this and multiple other kind of pre-packaged tax solutions that we're aware of and use is I don't just resell these things. I really dig in, understand the product that they're putting out, do the due diligence on them, and create a kind of relationship where we can partner together. So this gentleman flew out from California all the way to Shelby, North Carolina, and was in my office yesterday, and we were brainstorming on a number of topics, but some of the product and how to work on that and make it better, and some of the client cases that we've got in hand right now. Now, the output of that conversation was actually extremely interesting. See, a client that we closed on, I guess, just a couple of weeks ago from one of you guys. If you'd like to give yourself a shout out, be happy to do so. But this is a client in California that manages musicians, so makes a good amount of money. And we're working with him, and I had an update with him today on his tax plan. Oh, and by the way, this was a $60,000 tax plan case. So it's really out there. It's real. We do close these from you guys. So I want to just be clear on that. So I was going to update the client on his tax plan today or yesterday, but the outcome of this 4-hour meeting sent us in a totally new direction. What was kind of going on, and by the way, the tax credit is shut down for 2019. They're sold out. So it was off the table previously. Now, what we ended up doing is taking what would have been a great design, and we were going to save the client a couple $100,000 a year. But with the conversation I had, we developed a plan to take a $6 million capital gain for 2019, create a way to actually defer that to 2020. So we're moving $6 million of income out to the next year. So even if we do nothing, we don't have to pay tax on that for 18 months. So that by itself is an advantage. However, we're basically going to absorb all his 2019 income with our normal tax strategies. Because we created an idea and structure to kick this $6 million capital gain into 2020, now we can offset a solar tax credit against 100% of his 2020 taxable income on that capital gain, offsetting a $1.2 million estimated tax liability for 2020. Because we can create a structure to kick that 1 year down the road, so we're going to fund it in December, liquidate in January, so still highly liquid, but that action, deferring it 1 year, opens up the market for a massive tax credit play to completely eliminate the $1.2 million that the client would have paid on that capital gain in 2019. So I had a call with the client, West Coast time, at 10:45 last night. So, getting up at 4 and having client calls till 10:45, that's what happens this time of year. It is what it is, but it's a lot of fun. And I said, look, I know I owed you a huge update today and you're expecting, all these results. But let me tell you why I'm going back to the drawing board and why you need to just kind of remain flexible throughout this process. Because I say it over and over again, nothing is prepackaged, nothing is just set in stone. Every client is completely flexible as we're going through the design. These are all custom made. And I said, look, you got to follow me on this one. This is going to sound crazy. We're going to do a couple things. And what we actually projected is going to be probably double your actual benefit. Now, what happens in that scenario? I already billed the client $60,000 and they paid that based on an assumed tax savings. Well, he gets to pocket that for free. Okay. We don't go back and bill for that, right? So as we're working through these designs, the key thing for you to communicate to your clients as well is a general just patience and trust in the process. We're always working in the background on their plan. Even if we go quiet, that plan is in motion. The gears are turning. Okay. So one of the things that you guys can help me with is, when clients reach out and say, hey, what's going on with my plan? And, I'm nervous or whatever, just understand that we are working on it and it's totally fine. We have never dropped the ball in a bad way on any plan. Okay. We're working, we're thinking, we're structuring. I'm reaching out to my strategic partners, putting together very unique scenarios that's going to work fantastic for them. I'm particularly excited about this one because I was able to spend 4 hours with a tax savings provider from California. He came out to Shelby, North Carolina to meet with me. We did some great brainstorming, and collectively we've started down the road of packaging something unique that was never available before. And being able to do that and also have a cash flow, structure associated with it and a future buyout of the cash flow streams. We're working with a hedge fund partner so that if a client, buys into that 4% dividend, guaranteed, by the way, by that 4% dividend, we actually have a partner now on the backside that will come in a year or two later after the tax savings has largely dissipated and buy the stream of cash flows. So take them away. So the client gets to reliquidate again. So specific numbers in this scenario, it's going to look something like this. The client is going to owe $1.2 million roughly, 1.3 with California taxes included. He's going to fund about $1 million into a solar tax credit structure. By moving $1 million into the structure, he's going to completely eliminate the $1.3 million of tax due in 2020. And then he'll have a dividend income stream out of that. The following year, we've got a resource that will then come back and provide liquidity and buy him out of the 4% dividend. So what is that going to look like? Maybe $500,000 to buy a 20-year stream of, $800,000 worth of cash flow, something like that. So $1 million in saves $1.3 million in tax. Then the following year, he's going to get about another $500,000 in cash on the buyout of the cash flow stream. Now, this particular client, super psyched about it. Going to take, honestly, a couple more conversations to get him comfortable with how it works. This is a little bit more on the technical side. There's a lot of engineering stuff with the solar industry and how that works. But that's my job, right? To walk them through it, get them comfortable, show them how it works and the benefits, and educate them on the process. So while on the front end, these things sound kind of incredulous, there's a whole lot of work that goes into the back end to support the product. So wanted to give a real live example over how these things kind of remain fluid. We're in the end of the year here. We're managing sales, we're managing plans, we're managing cash flow. Folks, there's a lot going on, but these things bubble up, incredible opportunities getting built out. And just know that when we work with things maybe you've read about or you've looked around in these products and strategies, we actually have those folks develop those for us. We do the due diligence on it. And many of these guys you might be aware of have literally been to my office. We have brainstormed one-on-one. 99% of other CPAs and tax preparers don't even know about these things. And out of the ones that do, 99% of those have not had these guys in their office and know intimately the inner workings of them. That is the difference and what you have access to right here, right now. And you can be 100% confident when you discuss this with your clients and say, it works. This guy runs deep relationships within this whole tax planning industry. And he is the one guy that you can go to and rely on for design, implementation, getting the tax returns done, and making sure they're done right. So to walk away with, understand again, I cannot stress this enough, the relationships that we build, the extra steps that we go through to have the guys that design these things in our office to make sure they work will beat nobody else in the market. And I didn't even think about this. With the tax credit play, I had a large client this year that threw a couple of $1 million into this. Well, he wanted a little bit of extra due diligence. He wanted an independent third party just to put eyes on the transaction. So we thought, well, who would be a good resource? We've got this tax credit play, so there's tax, and it's solar, which is a unique industry. You know what we did? We called the ex-general counsel of Solar City. If you recall, Solar City was bought out by Tesla. So he was a number one tax attorney at Tesla. So we invested $40,000 in 2019 to hire this guy to review the transaction. So this, if you are familiar with conservation easements, this is a fantastic replacement for conservation easements. And we're actually working to structure maybe even a monetized installment sale as well. It's done well. We've done the due diligence, and we paid the attorney for Tesla and Solar City $40,000 to review the transaction. So that's what we're bringing to the table. I'm going to keep harping on it. We got some really cool stuff coming. So stay with it. I'm going to keep trickling these out so you know what to look for, and we'll keep pounding away. And super congratulations to the advisors that brought us this case. Again, it was a $60,000 tax plan, and probably 2 to 4 life insurance sales. Highly likelihood of 2 premium finance cases coming out of this one as well. So great case study of how something like this could turn into easily a 6-figure commission for everybody to share on. So keep them coming. Love the activity and work. Keep driving. Stay in front of your clients, and keep bringing them in. All right. Good luck, everybody.